Hey y'all, this is SimmerDownSouth and welcome to the second part of the Black Widow Tudor speed build. We're getting back to the second floor, getting that squared away. I'm working on the back side of the house. This is going to end up being the playroom for the kids, and I did end up expanding that part out and adding a bunch of windows, which I think greatly improved the room. It would have been a bit drab, and it kind of adds a little bit to the back side of the house. And I'm actually going to add a staircase to go up to an attic, which I had intended to be the urn room, but the way the roof does, it just doesn't make it very conducive to putting stuff up there. So I may end up scrapping that later on, but I'm going to leave it for now. I may figure out a way for it to work, but it is in the final build, so it will be there. So maybe probably most of y'all will be better at figuring out that kind of thing. So if there's a trick to getting this attic thing to work by having the walls up instead of having to have all the walls down and the roofing obscure the room, then please let me know, because I am all ears. And here I go fooling with the symmetry of the upstairs bits again. And that back corner is going to be another bathroom, and I'm going to split that room on the right into 2 bedrooms. They're each going to have single beds. And I am still trying to play with the shape of the rooms a little bit, kind of make it not quite so boxy. And it's not as creative as it could be, but it gets the job done. And I have been more creative with my bathrooms, which I've been enjoying. So that is something, getting some improvement there. But something that you will probably notice is I don't put a whole lot of clutter in my builds. I am not a clutter person. It makes it feel messy to me. I like decorations, like plants and wall hangings and stuff like that, but I just can't have something covering every surface of a countertop or every surface of a wall. It's too chaotic for me, and it kind of makes me anxious a little bit. So I see these builds where there's just stuff everywhere, and some people may love that. I'm just not one of them. And that's honestly a reason why I struggle with downloads from the gallery, is people put just clutter everywhere, and I end up just deleting half the stuff and just clearing the whole place out. And these start off as kids' rooms, and I end up scrapping both of those rooms and starting over, which I've put in later in this video. I put in a bed, a nightstand, a lamp, and a dresser, and skedaddle out of there. I don't know. I was getting fed up with those 2 bedrooms, but I do end up having a pretty good time with the playroom, which also gets changed around a good bit. And that is custom content wallpaper that gets changed, so don't you worry about that. I actually end up liking how it looks later than when it does right now, so that's pretty cool. And those are chairs and the poof from the movie stuff pack, and that is the Don't Wake the Llama kids table. Got a bunch of kid stuff going in there. Keep it bright and colorful, which I love. And those rugs also end up going away because those are also custom content. And there's a chandelier going in right there, which hangs down to the first floor, which is awesome. And here goes a little attic, which honestly ends up not serving any kind of purpose. And here I go with the roof again. I'm telling you, this roof was the bane of my existence. So, I don't know. That attic idea is probably not so great. I'll probably just get rid of that later on when I'm actually playing and figure something else out. But the good news is the furnishing for the inside of the house is pretty much done. And we're going to play around with the outside a little bit. So I end up deleting that closet and add a private little balcony for Charlotte and her flavor of the day. And we're going to put a hot tub out there, a little private access hot tub. And we're going to do a little what would you call that? Lattice work roof over there. Put a bunch of flowers in, which is one of my favorite things to do for kind of an open balcony sort of thing. And I'm also a fan of hot tubs because that woohoo animation is probably the greatest thing since sliced bread. Just saying. And got our lattice work. Going to put some stairs in there. Get some lighting in there. And here we go with the foliage on top of the lattice work. And this is just bb.move objects on. And of course you can use the Alt key to freely move items and get away from that grid. I'm going to add a little bit of ivy on the walls going up there. And that corner there ends up being a really nice garden. I hadn't been big into adding gardens up until this romantic garden stuff pack came out, and now it's like my favorite thing to do. So this here ends up being the entrance to our little dungeon of horrors for Charlotte. Going to have that nice kind of ancient door that I'm going to lock for pretty much everyone but Charlotte, except as needed for killing off husbands. And I've got that awesome tree with the lanterns in it that came from the movie Hangout stuff pack. And now is just adding a bunch of flowers, which I ended up having a lot more fun with than I thought I would. I know that the pack didn't seem to come with a bunch of new plants, but they have so many colors that it kind of makes up for that. You can really change up the look just by changing the color. I end up using just a menagerie of colors, and I'm loving those, I forget what they're called, but the tall kind of trumpeted flowers I'm obsessed with now. I'm going to put in some rocks to kind of help frame everything out and really fill in the space and brighten it up. And it ends up being one of my favorite landscaping jobs, which is really something because I'm usually garbage at landscaping. It usually ends up looking really messy, but these new plants really clean it up. I am a huge fan. And we're just going to go do that all over the front of the house, which makes it look ironically cheerful considering the horrible things that Charlotte is doing inside the house. Bless her. I love this challenge. Let's see. Oh, I end up adding some lights to light up that walkway there, which I love. And gonna use the terrain paints to really give it some character. And I end up turning that space underneath the lantern tree as a meditation area, because if you are off killing husbands left and right, you probably need some yoga and meditation in your life. Seems like something that should be a thing. Doing some more terrain paints, and what do we do here? Oh, we're going to do a little path from that side balcony to the front and kind of just waggled that paintbrush down, make it look a little bit more natural instead of just super straight lines, which is how I usually do it, and it's boring. So I've really kind of challenged myself in this build. I'm pretty proud of how it turned out. Yeah, and this whole fence thing, yeah, that goes away. I usually just box in my houses with fences, and I took a day and thought about it and said, nah, this sucks. Same with the that back porch there. That's gone. That goes away. I end up hating it. So that's going to disappear in just a few minutes here, and we're going to clean up that backyard and turn it into something that has a lot more character and vibrance than what it has now. And so we're going to add in a kind of reflection garden area, which starts off a little rough, to be perfectly honest. I think I was getting tired at this point. It was getting late. I'd been working on this house for quite some time, and I honestly just needed to step away from it and reevaluate my life choices. and figure out what I wanted to do with it. So I end up using one of the new arches from the pack and making a nice entrance there. At this point, I pretty much start wrapping it up, and in a little bit, you'll see where at this point, I pretty much thought I was done. I was planning on wrapping it up here and being done with it and calling it a day, and I had a side table and a few things to the entry here because it was very bare, very, very bare. And yeah, I was planning on just wrapping it up here, calling it a day, and say, peace, I'm done. But then I took a night, rested on it, looked at some screenshots, and then had a come to Jesus moment with the custom content. Deleted the whole mods folder from my game for all of my saves, which means I'm going to have to go back and redo a bunch of makeup and stuff with my Sims. But it's fine. It's fine. It'll be okay. And ended up fixing everything, replacing the wall coverings, carpeting, rugs, etc. that were custom content, and doing a bunch of work on the backyard. So that is going to come up in just a second, right after I finish up with the great room, and here we go. Getting rid of that back porch because I hated it, and we're going to turn it into a little alfresco dining area. Going to complete this side garden and really spruce up the side walkway. Going to finish that up, and the whole thing ends up feeling nice and complete in the end. It looks crazy now, but I promise you it's worth the wait. Going to clean it up with some rails and get rid of that walkway and use the terrain paint just to make sure everything matches. And I'm going to extend that out to the back, and we're going to add in a bunch more plants back here, which you know, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm just saying. It's nice when you're happy with how the build turns out, because too frequently I rush through it and I don't take the time to really give it the TLC that it needs, and I end up just being okay with it. I don't add the little extras that deserve to be added, and that's really kind of what makes or breaks a build, in my opinion. And I struggled with this little grilling area. I'm used to having more room in the backyard, and I am a fan of this little greenhouse cover, but it just doesn't work in this space. That goes away. It takes away a bunch of the visibility of that space back there. It kind of closes it off. It doesn't fit. So that goes away. And you'll see me struggle through finding the kind of decor that I want to add to the back. So it's it's pretty funny. I hope y'all aren't hating this video. Like I said, this is my first speed build. I'm trying really hard to make this work. It has been a learning experience for sure. But here we go, adding the flowers to the back, bunch of trees and bushes, and making it something special. And we've got, I love those tall, thin trees. It really kind of frames out parts of the house. And we do end up adding a bunch more back here. And I added more flowers and bushes than I ever have really in a build before, and I think I'm going to be doing this in the future. I haven't spent enough time experimenting with all the different options that is available for landscaping, and there's actually a good bit out there. I can't wait to get more, obviously, but I'm definitely grateful for this newest stuff pack for adding that to it. It offers a lot more options, and I love those tall ones. They come in so many colors too. It definitely adds to the aesthetic of the houses for sure. So that little side fountain area right here that I had struggled with before turns into something I'm just super happy with. I end up putting a woohoo bush in the corner there, which I am going to have to play test to make sure that Charlotte can get to, but it seemed like the perfect spot for that once I finally figured that out. I'm going to add a whole bunch of flowers over here and really fill in the space. And like I said, it's more of like a reflection area. There's no bench. I should probably add a bench to that little private hot tub area, which would really make it a reflecting area. But so far it works. And that side part that we just saw, that is about to get filled in just in the most serious way. So here we go, adding a bunch of, yeah, those rose bushes are huge. I don't know what I'm going to do with those. That is the one thing I don't think I've used from the new stuff pack yet. And just going to fill in the space with a whole bunch of flowers of every color. Usually I go matchy-matchy with this kind of stuff, but I wanted it to be a little wild. Like it's manicured, but definitely well filled in, like it would look if it's been around for a very long time. So there is the pathway with the garden on it. I'm going to put in a bunch of rocks, really fill it in, kind of cleans up the whole place, filling around that tree there. And yeah, I ended up adding a bunch of hanging plants from the windows and deleting them because it just got too busy. I can't do that busy. It already has enough color from all the plants on the ground, and it just ended up being too much. I do like the vines along the wall, but yeah, it was too much. And I do like to add in lights throughout the garden so it's nice and bright when it's dark out. So, well, it's not super bright when it's dark out. As you can see, it definitely brings attention to the garden when it's night out, which is something that I don't see, honestly, all that often on builds. So I like having something a little different to call my own. And let's see. Yep. Now we're going to go in and replace all of the custom content that has been removed, including the flooring, the rug situation here. I end up using a rug from the movie Hangout stuff pack, and gotta love that size up little cheat. Gonna replace the walls in this bathroom. All the tiled walls basically need to get replaced, and the carpet, because I was a custom content hoarder for a while, but I've changed my ways. And those square rugs are pretty much everything right now. And what else do we do? Let's see, we've got, oh yeah, the tile in the master bath has to change as well. I think I got everything. And we're going to kind of add on to the dungeon down here. Now, one thing I did not get video of was redoing those two kids' bedrooms upstairs. It was getting to be too crazy at my house, and so I ended up finishing those later, but I do include pictures of those in the little picture montage, which is coming up here soon. But this is pretty much it, guys. Oh, there's the dungeon going in down there. But yeah, this is pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this build. I will plan to be doing more of these in the future, and I will be putting this up on the gallery. My origin ID is SimmerDownSouth, so be looking for that. And leave any comments, suggestions, ideas, praise, criticism down below. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you like it. I hope to see it in your game. Bye, guys.